The Atlanta Hawks appear ready to move on from their franchise star after a disastrous stretch that has the organization questioning its future direction. Following Saturday's loss to the New York Knicks, the Hawks have now dropped 6 straight games since Trae Young returned to the lineup, including 5 contests in which Young actually played. The team sits at just 2 wins and 8 losses in games where Young has been available this season. ESPN's Tim MacMahon believes the Hawks are signaling their intentions based on their complete lack of effort to sign Young to an extension. MacMahon stated on Brian Windhorst and the Hoop Collective that Atlanta is certainly indicating they're looking for the exit ramp with their 4-time All-Star point guard. The writing appears to be on the wall for Young's time in Atlanta. The problem facing the Hawks is that the market for Young probably isn't as robust as it would have been a couple years ago. Any trading partner would need to match his massive $46 million price tag, which significantly limits potential suitors. Young remains a serious defensive liability, and while his offensive style is prolific, it simply hasn't been good enough to offset those limitations in a winning way this season. So which teams might be interested in acquiring a player with Young's profile? The most likely candidates would be teams already in playoff position with enough defensive strength to cover for his weaknesses, rebuilding franchises hoping Young could be the star piece they're missing, or organizations that are simply desperate for a change. The Washington Wizards make sense as a potential destination. They've been strategically tanking for several years while accumulating nice young talent, and they want to continue losing this season given the elite prospects available at the top of the 2026 draft. However, they still lack a genuine star, and at some point their rebuild must start producing results. Young might be the dynamic point guard they need to bring everything together and transition from rebuilding to competing. The Houston Rockets rank 7th in defensive efficiency and could certainly absorb Young while continuing to thrive. He fills multiple needs for a team that lost starting point guard Fred VanVleet just before the season started and attempts the fewest three-pointers in the entire NBA. The challenge would be making the money work without sacrificing other valuable roster pieces in the process. The Milwaukee Bucks could make another desperate attempt at keeping Giannis Antetokounmpo happy by trading for Young. After they thought Miles Turner would help solve their problems, it's hard to put anything past this franchise. Outside of Antetokounmpo, virtually no one else on the roster is truly untouchable, making a blockbuster deal at least theoretically possible. Minnesota has reached the conference finals in back-to-back seasons with nothing to show for it, making it hard to believe they won't make a major move before the trade deadline. Perhaps they convince themselves Young can fill their glaring hole at point guard. Currently, their leader in assists is Julius Randle at just 5.7 per game, highlighting their desperate need for a true floor general. The Miami Heat seem to come up in every trade conversation, and Tyler Herro's inability to stay healthy leaves the team needing a floor-spacing guard. Young would not only exceed Herro's scoring production, but add significantly more playmaking ability, potentially opening up Miami's entire offensive system. With Bam Adebayo anchoring the league's 4th-ranked defense, the Heat might be willing to take a swing on Young's talents. For breaking NBA trade news and analysis, subscribe to USA Today News for comprehensive coverage of all the biggest stories in professional basketball.